All right, bonus time for those listening on the podcast. We'll get a look at our weekly lines with Cam Tucker from PlayNow.com, BCLC. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, fellas. How's it going? It's got that playoff feel right now with the temperature outside. It's a beautiful fall day, and boy, we're only 2 games left here.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Walking into the facility early this morning, I kind of had that feeling for the first time. Yeah, it's a little crispy out. It's good. The leaves are falling. That means the season, the real season is here. Let's talk about it. Lions and Elks on Friday. As of this moment, BC opening as a 5.5-point favorite against the playoff desperate Elks.
Yeah, so Matt, this line actually, it did start early right off the bat at 6 points. It did shift to 5.5 this afternoon, and we'll have to wait and see where this line ends up. Come kickoff on Friday, but no surprise that the Lions are favored going into this game. The Lions have owned this matchup the last 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, going back to 2022, the Lions are 11-1 straight up in their last 12. They're 10-2 against the spread against the Elks. But for all of the difficulties that Edmonton has had, they've really turned things around here the last few weeks. They're actually right now the best team in the CFL against the spread, and I think it's like they're like 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. So that's a sign of a team that is playing very competitive football, and they've managed to keep their season alive going into this week. It's an interesting matchup, and we'll see how it plays out. But for the Lions right now, there's the possibility of obviously being able to clinch that home playoff spot. That's huge. That's a great motivator for them. But then you also look at the fact that if Edmonton is able to stay alive after the first game between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, it's going to be a desperate football team. It should make for a good matchup, and I think it's going to be a competitive game for sure.
What has the BC Lions 4-game win streak done to the Grey Cup odds?
Yeah, I mean, this is really quite something that we've been tracking for the last couple of weeks. Right now, the Lions are plus 500 to win the Grey Cup. They actually have the 5th best odds at PlayNow. And look, I don't make the odds, I just talk about them. I don't quite understand the line there. They actually have worse odds than, longer odds. I shouldn't say worse odds, but longer odds than Calgary, who they thumped twice.
Yeah.
And so, hey, look, like I said, I don't make the lines. But to me, if I'm looking at the number and I'm saying, okay, the BC Lions have won 4 in a row, they're heating up at the right time, plus 500 seems to me like that's a decent number for some value out there. And so I think that the Lions, definitely an interesting pick to win the Grey Cup. And right now I can tell you that the Lions right now are by far the most popular team with our bettors to win the Grey Cup.
It's a bonus pick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I was looking at the numbers today. I mean, Winnipeg was one of the most bet on teams. They've trailed off. Saskatchewan was one of the most bet on teams. They've trailed off. Right now we're seeing a lot of those bets surge on the BC Lions, which, we're obviously in a market, the BC market. So it's no surprise. But the fact that the Lions are doing so well, winners of 4 straight, they're turning around on defense as well. They played really well defensively the last few weeks. So there's a lot of things that I think people are optimistic about, and they're putting their money down on the Lions to win it all right now.
And lastly, Cam, we're coming off a win with the bet boost, right? I think it was Keon Hatcher to get 80 yards and the Lions to win by 4. So there's a win.
There was a little bit of a sweat in the fourth quarter there where I was watching it. I was like, wait a second. Come on. Let's get this over the line. But, it was a win for that one.
All right, so what are we looking at for Week 20, though?
We're still looking at our options right now, but I think James Butler is a player that I would like to get into the odds boost. Nathan Rourke has been really terrific all season long, coming off of 400-plus passing yards in the last matchup against Calgary. So I think that there's going to be something around James Butler and Nathan Rourke, and then we're going to probably tie it to either a money line or a point spread. I mean, you look back at earlier in the season, James Butler had, I think it was like 170 yards rushing against the Elks. And look, Edmonton has really shored up defensively, and James Butler has not hit 80-plus rush yards, I think, in a few weeks here. But coming off of the bye week against that matchup against Edmonton, what's at stake? I think that the Lions are certainly going to focus on running the ball, and James Butler is that player that can offer that dynamic presence in the backfield. So I definitely would say James Butler, Nathan Rourke, and then we'll probably tie it to a money line or a point spread.
Yeah, and earlier we were talking about how the Lions are kind of winning with different ways now. I think it was 97 receiving yards James Butler had in the Week 18. So
97 of 140-something from scrimmage,
Getting it done other ways.
So if we don't tie it to a rushing milestone, I mean, maybe we'll look at James Butler touchdowns and maybe a passing milestone for Nathan Rourke. But that offense, since about Week 5, has been absolutely tremendous, and those two players have been obviously played a big role in that.
Almost like an MOP is navigating the offense.
Oh,
we'll see.
Hey, that's another interesting one. So we'll have to keep an eye on that in the next few weeks as well.
I have a hunch we're going to revisit the MOP odds perhaps in a couple of weeks when we're looking ahead to the playoffs. And, hey, we're just days away from the team finalists and the division finalists. So, like we were saying, outside a little crispy out, and that means that the real season is upon us. Cam, we'll see you Friday on the panel, and we'll be paying close attention to your lines.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Lots of fun.
Cam Tucker from BCLCPlayNow.com. That's a wrap on First and Now. We're back next Tuesday. Adios.